Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live Show, where I, Sunita, along with my co host Tracy, we hop on every Friday and talk about everything North Fork. The weather is glorious on the North Fork. It is full on summer, and even though there was a little bit of heat wave earlier, and it was almost too hot, it is now just simply perfection. The farm stands are bursting. I just stopped by yesterday and literally had to pull over as soon as I saw it. The sunflowers are in full bloom, and the stands are filled with live sunflower, well, fresh cut sunflowers. The farm produce, I just stopped by someplace near me, I think it's called Wowak Farms, and they had golden beets, which I'm loving, loving, loving even more than the regular beets. I don't know. I guess this is my of it as I can, because a little part of my brain constantly keeps reminding me of how short summer is. I know all the seasons are the same length, but it just feels like summer is much shorter than the others. Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
I'm good. I heard you say you had to pull over because the sunflowers are in full bloom. I had to pull over last night because my toddler is in full bloom.
What's
So
going
I am
on with
moving
her?
slow.
She's always such an angel. I want to hear what. I mean, first
Well,
of all, why were you driving with her at midnight,
yes.
way past her bedtime?
It wasn't midnight when we started on the trip, but we were at Sesame Place. It was wonderful. She was wonderful. I have to give her huge props that she did not get a nap, because we were trying to squeeze the most out of the day, but the ride home was something else.
Good morning, JP.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Is Mike joining in from a separate account? I see his request.
Yes,
Okay, awesome.
yes,
I'm just going to
he's
check that.
on here as Mike
Okay,
Wallace.
awesome. I wasn't sure because one time I accidentally accepted somebody that wasn't supposed to be on the show, and it was quite entertaining.
And here he is.
Good morning, guys. How are
Good
you?
morning.
Good. How are you, Sunita?
Hi, guys.
Oh, well, hello, Charlie. I guess Charlie
Yeah,
is making a
Charlie
special
just
appearance.
growled and said he wanted to come on camera today, so
Awesome.
I'm honoring the request.
All right, let's jump into it. Tell us who you two are, and I first want to hear how you found your way to the North Fork.
Absolutely. So I'm JT. This is my cousin Mike. I grew up in Rockville Center in Nassau County. Mike's from Boston, also born in Garden City. But we grew up coming out to our grandfather's house in Southold for as long as we could remember. So that's how we started coming out during the summers. And eventually that led us into our first job, which was over on Shelter Island, and I kind of steamrolled into a bunch of other businesses.
Wow. Wait a minute. Can I just take a
Yeah.
moment? How lucky are you that you had a childhood in Southold?
Yes.
And then your first job is on a place like Shelter Island? I mean,
Yeah.
that is incredible. That is a stroke of luck.
Yes. Very awesome. Very lucky. So we're actually he's two, I'm three of 22 grandchildren that all kind of come out to the same house every summer. So it gets a little crazy, but it's a good time.
I can't even imagine that.
All
level
at the
of
same time?
That's why we like to go to work, because we get out of
Comes
that
and
house.
goes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that sounds like a really fun family. And you said your grandparents were here in Southold first.
Yes. Originally from Garden City, but spent the summers out here and now live out here full time.
That's great.
Awesome.
That's great.
Awesome. And so what was your first job in Shelter Island?
Mike, you want to take that one?
So our first job, so our family owns the Island Boatyard on Shelter Island. So we grew up from probably, I feel like we were 10 to 18 as dock hands, running around, getting ice, fuel. Through that, we got into the charter boat business. So our first business was called Charters in the Hamptons, which was a charter boat out of Shelter Island, Sag Harbor. We take people on lunch cruises, bachelorette parties, stuff like that. And while we were on Shelter Island, that started during COVID. We noticed that the previous Shelter Island taxi service stopped running with COVID. So that was our second business, which we still have today. We sold the boat business, but we still have the taxi company on Shelter Island. But through all the boat customers and the taxi customers, we met a lot of people who had seasonal homes out here, or had a lot of trouble maintaining their homes because homes are a lot of work. So the boats and the taxis are great, but at the end of the day, they're both weather dependent seasonal businesses.
Yeah.
Which when it's great, it's great. But last summer I remember it rained like almost every Saturday.
Every Thursday too.
Every
Every single Thursday. Because
That's
every
it.
Yes.
So through the boats and the taxis, we met all these people who we were doing favors for. It's like, hey, I know you guys are here. Can you put my umbrellas away in the fall? Can you help, rake my leaves in the fall? Get my house ready for the spring. So eventually we had, a bunch of people we were doing favors for. So that's kind of how we got the idea for Neversweat. Was just where it's a more legitimate, long-term business, that there's a lot of demand for it. And it's something that we're a little more passionate about and can, see ourselves doing for a while.
I love that you guys heard multiple times, heard a need in the community and then answered that need. That is a true entrepreneur. So congrats to both of you guys for being able to see those things and then act on them.
at such a
Thank you.
young,
Yeah.
I might add,
Yes.
at such a young age.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it sounds like you had a foundation of working hard. Obviously, if your family had a business, I'm sure you were working long before you technically could work, right? So you've been working forever, really.
Well, that's
Yes.
that's kind of how the name Neversweat came into be. So as JT said, 22 grandkids. JT and I are the 2 and 3, two oldest boys. So working up on the summers on our grandfather's farm, we were the hired labor. It's like, you want to go in the pool, you better go pick weeds for an hour or two.
Yeah.
So our grandfather would call us the Never Sweats because he'd be like, oh, these are my Never Sweats. They don't do anything. But in reality, we were doing everything. So that's kind of how Never Sweat came to be, which was an interesting kind of journey when we're trying to pick a name, because a lot of people are, North Fork property management, Hampton's property management. So this is just something different, and just kind of separates us from everyone like that.
See, and here,
Well,
I'm glad you shared the backstory, because here I'm thinking that's for the homeowner. It's not, okay, well, you don't need to sweat, but I'm going to
It
handle
doubles.
it for you.
Yeah, it doubles. Exactly.
I hear your breakfast taste testers at Harvest Inn.
At the Harvest Inn, yes, we love Stacy and Steve from the Harvest Inn. They
Yes.
always treat us well when they have to test a new
She's
breakfast
just,
item.
actually, they're just commenting about how you guys did their driveway, their fence, and so many things. So I want to hear all about. So tell me what Neversweat Property Management offers. What do you do?
So our main services, we do weekly, bi-weekly home inspections, a little bit of handyman services, and we manage the contractors in and out of the house throughout the year. So our main clientele is second homeowners in the east end of Long Island. We service the South Fork too, but most of our houses are on the North Fork, a couple on Shelter. So that's our main business. And then we also offer a couple other services like organic weed killing, utilizing foam stream technology, which is basically like a hot water pressure washer that heats up water to 220 degrees and creates a foam made up of vegetable oils to keep that hot water on the plant, to kill the weed and the seed. So it's perfect for gravel driveways, walkways, brick walkways, anywhere where weeds are. It's a non-selective, so it's not going to be for your grass, your crabgrass, and your lawn, but it's perfect for your gravel driveways and walkways.
Very cool.
Wow, that's really cool. Is
That
that the driveway service that the Harvest Inn is recommending that you guys did for them?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's a 2 to 4 applications per year, and it's a really good service.
Good to know. I have to tell you, I've been considering switching my driveway to the P-Stone, and every time I think about it, I'm like, ugh, but I don't want to weed that. I don't want to, even though you put down all the stuff, and there's always
going to come back.
So now I know I can do that, and then have you guys come over and foam the crap out of it.
Foam stream, yes.
Exactly.
You said organic, so there's no chemicals.
Yeah, it's all organic, safe for kids, pets, dogs, anything. All it is hot water and vegetable oils. The hot water is what actually kills the weed. The foaming agent, it's the vegetable oils and sugars, that just creates a little foam to allow the hot water to stay on the plant long enough in order to break down that wax coating and kill the weed and the seed. So
back to the property management. I have 2 questions. Yes. One, Do you handle people's Airbnbs where they're turning over and you go in and check in between renters?
Yeah, so we work with Melissa Principe from Douglas Elliman. So she kind of handles the renting side of it, getting people in the house, all the contracts and stuff, and we handle the physical house. So if you have people, Monday to Sunday and new people coming in on Tuesday, that Monday we're going through the house, making sure they didn't break anything, they didn't say anything, but also getting the house cleaned, or if the guests coming in have special requests. Sometimes people, want their fridges stocked, want the AC on 72, whatever it may be. So yeah, we handle pretty much everything from the maintenance of the house and also anything people could possibly think of.
Wow, that's great.
Sounds like you guys do a little bit of it all, like whatever a house may need.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
How many houses in a week are you generally checking on?
Probably about 20 to 30 different
Wow.
houses we're communicating with and just making sure everything's running smoothly. And then more kind of like one-off jobs here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
And now this, you said, is a year-round business, right? But you're still running your seasonal businesses on Shelter Island, which is the taxi and the charter service.
So the charter boats we're not involved with as much. We're still slightly involved with it. The taxi is rock and rolling. That's a very fun, 3-month sprint. But that dies down usually after, Labor Day. The regular service dies down, but then September, October is wedding season. So we do probably 2 or 3 weddings every weekend. But really after, October 30th, it's like a pretty hard shutdown where it's like, if we do, 2 rides in the fall, we're like, wow, big day. That was great. But it's hard because we have to stay open because we drive a lot of people to work. We drive people to doctor's appointments, stuff like that. So we have a bunch of great drivers who we make a deal with in the winter just to keep the service open, keep them getting a little money in because they understand it's not a huge draw in the winter. But Neversweat is definitely more year round. So it's, people, when they come out in the summer, they want to enjoy their house. They don't want to see construction or anything like that. So that's what the off season is for, where if you wanted to do a new bathroom, if you wanted to redo a kitchen, that's all, October to April stuff. That way they can get it done, they can check on it, but they don't necessarily have to live through it.
So you guys don't necessarily arrange any of that, but you would be the point of contact for the contractor, for the GC, if something's happening while they're in the city or wherever?
yes, exactly. That's one of the things we like to tell people. It's the one phone number for everything. And we tell people you're not really buying us, you're buying our contacts. So when other people go to a contractor, they find a lot of the times, but yeah, we'll get there next week, maybe 2 weeks. With us, we send a text to the owner and it gets done a lot quicker. And that's one of the advantages of having us.
That's great. So are you both out here full time now, or?
Yes.
Yeah. So we both graduated. I graduated from Trinity College in 2022. JT graduated from Fairfield same year, and we've both been here since. So
Don't blink, Tracy. They're very young, Tracy.
yeah.
I saw you blink.
Yeah.
Don't blink.
Yeah, so we're both here full time. It's actually, getting involved with Southold is how we got in touch with Steve and Stacy at the Harvest Inn, because JT and I and Steve did our Firefighter One together in the fire department, and that's led to a bunch of different things, including the
I
podcast.
want to talk a little bit more about that. How did you get involved with the Southfield Fire Department?
So our grandfather's been a fireman in Garden City Park in Nassau County for 50 plus years. So we've always grown up going to the Christmas parties, and when we were little, Grandpa takes us around and opens all the doors in the fire trucks and everything like that. So it's always something that's been in our family. And then as soon as we came out here, it was one of the first things we did once we were kind of settled was to let's join the fire department. And it's been very, very rewarding. It's very difficult at times. You see a lot of stuff that the average person doesn't want to see, but you also meet a lot of people, and you see, sometimes when you do save a person, it's like an incredible feeling. But it's also just being part of we're not from here, so we didn't necessarily know anyone. But now I feel like I've been here my entire life, because you get to meet all these people who have been here their entire life and embraced us coming into their community, and hopefully we're trying to make their community better and a little safer.
I have a very important question. Were either of you on the South Hold fire truck in the Jamesport parade last week?
No,
Oh,
It's
no.
not,
We
unfortunately.
were working. I wish
was
Memorial.
was Grandpa on the truck?
I don't know. I don't think no. He's still for him. He's 70 something years old. I won't give it away, but he still gets his points back in Garden City Park, and he really enjoys it, and that's kind of how we really respected the fire profession, or volunteerism, I guess, and just really gotten ourselves involved with it.
Sounds
Well,
sounds incredible man who's had so much influence in shaping your life and your thoughts and values. It's awesome to hear.
Absolutely.
and it's pretty incredible in not even a full 2 years time how integrated you guys have become in the community. Not only a business where you're interacting, like you said, with all of these people, the people who are coming out seasonally, but the contractors, you're integrated in the community, and then also working with the fire department as well, really supporting the community and really being a part of it.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that the service you're offering is so much needed.
Yeah.
Like we owned this house for about 20 years, but obviously we weren't here full time. And there were so many times when we were there versus here, and we needed somebody to call and didn't really have that option. So a lot of times we drove down just to tackle something and go back. So and now that I'm here, my neighbors are so happy. They're like, "Oh, you're here full time. So could you check on this or could you check on that?" But it really is so much peace of mind knowing, oh, did I, accidentally
Right.
leave the water on,
It's involved in a strange way too. Like when we started, we're like, we're going to check on people's houses in the off season. But even in the spring and summer, people aren't always here. So it's like, hey, I accidentally ordered a package to my house. Can you just go put it inside?
Yeah.
There's also a lot of people who after COVID, moved out from the city and they haven't owned a house either before or in a long time. They're like, geez, how do you do this, and this? And there's also a lot of widows out here that need help with people, need help with stuff around the house, and it's been a bigger range of people than I originally anticipated, which is, I guess, a good thing. But
And
we just help as
also
better.
full-time residents. Not everybody is handy,
Also
right? And to
true.
rely on somebody that will show up and tackle the small things that need tackling is great.
Absolutely.
Well, and I was going to say, potentially single mothers who consider themselves extremely handy, but eventually realize they've reached their limit of knowledge, they might need your help.
Have the time to
Or
check.
don't have the time. Yes.
That's it. Or don't want to.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So I'm curious about the other 19 cousins, and are they part of your crew now, or are they still not sledding?
A couple of the older ones are. They actually came with us to work the past 2 days. We're doing a demolition in Riverhead of a commercial space. But yeah, they were out helping us. They're 15 and 16. But yeah, they're slowly getting up there.
That's amazing. I love it.
So you're getting the younger ones start down the same path.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think they like to follow us too for other things.
So
Plus, if they want to jump in the pool, they have to do something.
yeah, yes, exactly. They have to earn their pool time. So if someone wants to hire you, how do they go about doing that? Like, is it a contract? Is it per occasion? How does it work?
Sure. So we usually visit the house and kind of walk through the house with the homeowner and kind of see what they want, because every house is different. Some people are only here 10 weeks during the summer, only on the weekends. And some people get crazy. Some people want everything from the temperature of the fridge to aerial shots of the roof and gutters every week. And some people only want, we call it the jog and flush. Some people only want us in the house for 15 minutes, make sure no burst pipes, everything's fine, the heat's on. So it kind of depends what the homeowner wants. But after that, we do have a contract. Pricing starts at $300 a month, and that gets you 2 visits per month, 2 walkthroughs. If it's during the summer and you're living there and you don't want the walkthrough, we could sub that out for 2 hours of handyman work. And that's kind of where everything starts from. And then bigger jobs on top of that, it's a per job price.
So can someone hire you for more of the handyman work if they don't have a contract? Or are you only doing the handyman work for the people you already have contracts with?
Good question. Initially, we are kind of taking everything we can get, but now we're starting to only be able to offer handyman services to our weekly customers.
Well, that means that's a good sign that your business is growing.
Yes.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's great. All right.
Yeah, because
Anita.
the need for both, right? And
Yeah.
there's so much you can do. And I think part of being a smart entrepreneur is also figuring out your niche and, you know, what you want to focus on and do it, because otherwise you're spread so thin in so many areas that nothing seems to run well, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the problem that we were starting to run into is like, can't be in 10 places at once. We got to kind of trim down and service the people that are our main customer.
Yeah. All right, Sunita, you have any more questions before we jump into the NOFO Live 5?
No, I just want to say I'm in awe of, you know, the way you guys process and evolve, and how in such a young age you've been able to build and transform from much smaller business to this. So kudos to you. And I just want to wish you luck in whatever you're doing next. And my brain is churning of how I can figure out ways to use it, so I don't need property checking.
Yeah.
There's always something.
The same with you. I mean, Tracy, you're like, wait, what? How can I have them over here?
Yeah, exactly. I end up starting all of these home renovation projects because I think I can do it all myself. And then I realize I actually have a job and a toddler. So when the heck do I think I'm going to finish this? So I have half-started projects all over the place.
You can do a lot of stuff with just one finger. You just tell us, you know, just point.
I like that.
That's it.
I like that.
I like that tagline.
That's great. All right, guys. So if you guys were going to take us out to lunch or dinner, where would you take us?
I'm a huge fan of First and South in Greenport. That's just something my girlfriend Teresa and we've tried a lot of places. That's just one place that I love. Good bar inside, and I liked in the winter they had heated outdoor space, and they put like blankets on every seat. So it's always one of my go-tos.
For breakfast and lunch, I'd take you guys to Love Lane Kitchen in Mattatuck. Also one of my favorite spots for breakfast. We're there all the time.
I just want to reply to Amanda, who's a kitchen designer at Nicolette's. Amanda, they run a property management service and they offer handyman services. They basically do it all, mostly focused on second homeowners that aren't here to manage their property. But I'm sure if you connect with them, there's probably a lot of stuff they can do.
Yes. You should connect with them, Amanda.
Like Amanda did, we do save these replays here on Instagram and on YouTube, so feel free to go back and watch and listen to everything. Amanda, this would be a good connection, collaboration for you, assuming they have the time to do, you know.
Well, but they could also, like we talked about the GC projects that they're doing, they could recommend Amanda for stuff. Amanda's a beautiful kitchen and bath designer, so you guys should connect. And that's exactly what this show is about. So yay!
That's it.
Okay. In all these places that you're working, hanging out, do you catch sunsets? Do you catch sunrises? And do you have a secret spot?
Ooh. I think our grandfather's house is on a creek in Southold. That usually gives a good facing, you know, south, or I guess northwest, but that's usually got a good sunset.
Yeah, any of the beaches up on the Sound. The Sound really has the best sunsets.
I'm partial to Southold, so yay for that.
Yeah.
I still stand by, like, people don't look at the bay for sunsets, but the way that the sun hits off that water and it becomes all pink, and the color blue that the water becomes is like a color I don't even know what to call it. Well, it's like the coolest color
last
ever.
night, I don't know if you were in the area, Tracy, but last night was a perfect example of that. I wasn't at the Sound last night because we were at someone's house, but the sky was lit pink, like every cloud just, it was spectacular. So I know what you mean. You really could stand anywhere on the North Fork and look up and enjoy it, you know. Okay, brewery, cocktail, mocktail, vineyard, where we find you and what might we be enjoying?
I live right across from Osprey Dominion, so I love going to the brewery in Greenport, at the Peconic location, Greenport Harbor Brewery. Anything there is awesome.
I think that's the original location, right? And then they added the Peconic later.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
yeah, you live in Peconic though, right?
I live in Peconic.
Oh, sorry,
So
I thought you said
it's right.
Greenport.
It's right around the block. Greenport Harbor Brewing Company.
Oh, okay.
Great spot.
Yeah. I love the brewery as well. I'm also a big Whiskey Win fan. Mike, our friend from the fire department, actually has done a really great job.
In the fire department too?
Mike,
Mike's
yes, Mike from, and
Yes.
he's also Bogey's Spirits in
I know
Southold.
Bogies. I didn't know he was in the fire department. Oh, good to
Yes, yeah, it's
know.
between Steve, Mike, JT, and I. We do a lot of taste testing, a lot of different places. But no, Whiskey Win's got great food, really, really cold beers, and it's just a nice place to be.
That's great. That's great. So, do you guys cook at home?
I do.
Yes? No?
Yeah.
Okay. Which farm stands are you hitting up to get your produce and stuff or meat?
It's gonna have to be Sangley Farms up on North Road. Really good. I do like to cook a lot at home. It's tough to find time during the summer. It's busy, crazy busy with everything. But yeah, I'd say Sangley Farms.
Another fireman, also Fred Lee.
Also another fireman.
Oh,
Who knew?
And
That's
yeah, I would say go back to my grandfather. Our grandfather's got a really big garden. So it's like you don't even need to go to farm stands, but you got to pick the weeds on them. But it's we would go right in the backyard and grab. I mean, our grandmother. We have so many zucchinis where every day there's a new zucchini something. Zucchini fritters, zucchini pie, zucchini, whatever you can think of. But yeah, usually right in the backyard. Just go out and take whatever you need.
those zucchini grow intensely. I know my parents have that as well, and they're constantly, anyone who comes to their house, they're like, please take a zucchini,
Yeah.
please.
Tracy,
Well,
the more these guys talk about their grandfather, I don't know, for some reason I keep thinking about your dad. And I think other firemen connection, they could probably be friends. They just sound like other human beings. I feel like we can connect the two of them, and form a new friendship.
I agree. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show. The last question we have for you is, why do you love being a part of the North Fork community?
I'm gonna say it's the people. My family and I have a bunch of friends still back west. I grew up in Nassau County, so I go to the city a lot. And then after going to the city for a weekend, just like walking on the street, no one says hi to anybody. Everyone looks at you weird. And then you come out here, you walk down the street, everyone's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" I would say it's the people.
Yeah.
I would say, I guess besides the summer, just the calmness of, my first fall here, you graduate college and, it's September 1, you're like, what do I do now? And, we were busy enough, but like on a Thursday, you go to a restaurant, everyone's just kind of like relaxing from the summer, and just like at ease. And no one's like, even thinking about anything except for like who they're talking to, what they're eating, and just the overall like vibe of the off season, I guess, is actually one of my favorite things, this fall and spring.
Yep, I love it. That's great.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you for the service that you're providing. I think it's much needed in the area, and you guys, I know Stacey and me personally, and they always speak so highly of what you guys do. So I definitely wouldn't hesitate recommending you guys to anybody in the area that's looking for that. Also want to give a special shout out for being volunteer firemen. I know nobody wants to think about those things, but to know that there are people like you guys and the others that you mentioned there when, if and when the need arises, I thank you both for that very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Thank you for having us. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. This is awesome.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.